Good morning from Kangerlussuaq. Flying to Nuuk today. It's about a 45-minute flight, and just walking here to the airport at Kangerlussuaq. Also, I didn't know Kangerlussuaq actually has a bus system or bus line. I don't know. Look at that. It says like bus stop here. But anyway, we're gonna walk because this channel is called Walking to Airports. If I interpret the schedule correctly, the bus runs about every half an hour. It's a bit windy this morning, but not too bad. The temperature is about 7 degrees Celsius. So Nuuk is the capital of Greenland. I've been told that it's a real city, sort of, much different to Ilulissat, for example. It was a nice walk in the morning sun, and the terminal was not too far away. Kangerlussuaq is a really small town with a population of just shy of 500 people. I really wonder what happens to it once the airport loses some of its significance as a regional gateway. Right, arrived at Kangerlussuaq Airport, the terminal here in the north. Stayed in the southern part of town last night in the youth hostel actually. And it's about a 20-minute walk to get from there to here. But now we're here. The aircraft is actually not here yet. I guess it's flying in from Nuuk. It's gonna be, surprise, another -8-200. So let's go inside. I'll drop off my backpack because it's a bit big for the -8, so I kind of want to check it in. The aircraft was still nowhere to be seen, and I would soon find out why. That early in the morning, the airport was not busy at all, and there were hardly any people in the terminal. I dropped my backpack, and it was only then I found out my original early flight was actually cancelled, and they had rebooked me onto the next flight an hour later. But at least they let me keep my window seat to Alpha. One hour later, my ride finally arrived. The schedule for flights between Kangerlussuaq and Nuuk is a bit interesting. Mostly, aircraft fly up the west coast in the morning, stopping in Kangerlussuaq and then continuing on to other destinations before returning to Nuuk through Kangerlussuaq in the afternoon. But there are also a couple of direct return flights which you can take to get to Nuuk already in the morning. Boarding started on time, and I once again walked down to the apron. Because the apron was empty this morning, they let us walk to the aircraft from the terminal. Last time, passengers had to take a bus because the A330 was in the way, but this time it was a nice walk in the calm morning. Walking up to an aircraft across the apron is by far my favorite way to board. You can see the aircraft the whole time, and the excitement grows with each step. Much better than being crammed into a bus. On this flight I had seat 2 Alpha, which gives you a nice view of the engine. And despite the previous flight having been cancelled, this flight was actually not full at all, and I had a row to myself.
Bound for Nuuk, but the flying time should be 45 minutes.
The engines were started and we were off blocks even a couple of minutes early.
We will now demonstrate how some of our safety equipment are used. It is time to select flight mode on mobile phones and other electronic devices.
As we were waiting on the runway for the pilots to complete their checklists, I couldn't help but notice the runway condition, which really isn't the best anymore. In fact, Kangerlussuaq has issues with permafrost melting underneath the runway, which would require a major renovation at some point. But given that other airports in Greenland are currently being extended, this is a bit unlikely. During climb out, the views were again absolutely stunning. There is so much wilderness here. Once we broke through the clouds though, the sun shined in strongly from the east, so I put on some sunglasses. Also, the flight attendant was wearing headphones on this flight. I'd probably do the same if I had to work in a noisy environment like the Dash 8 all day. The flight attendant then came around with tea, coffee and water. I had the latter. About 20 minutes before landing, we started our descent into Nuuk. We passed by the west of the city and then turned left onto final for runway 04. This provided some great views of the city. Nuuk is the capital and biggest city of Greenland. In the Greenlandic language, the name Nuuk simply means a point of a peninsula, which is a fitting expression for the city's location. It has a population of around 20,000 people, and you can also call it the cultural center of Greenland. Nuuk's runway is about 900 meters long and thereby extremely short, but it is being extended at the moment, and after the extension is completed, it will be 2,200 meters long. That's enough to accommodate direct flights on bigger aircraft from Europe or even the US. But there are no specific plans for future routes yet, so it remains to be seen. But quite excitingly, Air Greenland recently announced the resumption of flights between Nuuk and Iqaluit in the Nunavut territory in northern Canada. Flights will operate once weekly in the summer season starting on 26th of June 2024.
Welcome to Nuuk, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep your seatbelt fastened onto the fasten seatbelt sign has been switched off. We hope you have a pleasant flight. Thank you and see you soon again, and have a nice day.
And welcome to Nuuk Airport. The old terminal is pretty small and very busy with flights going in and out. There was even a flight from Keflavik in Iceland during that time. I picked up my backpack and then went outside to look for the bus stop. The outside was pretty much a construction zone at that time, and the bus stop had been relocated to the parking lot in front of the Air Greenland headquarters. Not long after, the bus arrived. Those are modern buses featuring an electronic payment system and screens inside. It was not really busy. On the airport road, we passed the construction site of the new terminal, which looked impressive. Right, made it to Nuuk. Here, the west side of Nuuk, took the airport bus straight to here. Very convenient, I have to say. Cost 20 kroner. I'm heading towards my accommodation. It's absolutely stunning. The weather is so sunny. There are like icebergs floating in the sea. I stayed in a place right by the water, which was amazing, and I spent the rest of the day exploring the city. Have you been to Nuuk before? Leave a comment and let me know what you thought of the city. My plan was to stay in Nuuk for one night and then continue the following day. If you want to find out where I'm flying next, subscribe now. Until then, enjoy your travels.